We'll start here. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here and for your interest in teaching online. I want to start with a little story. Two little stories. The first story is about several students who have been coming to class. We've been teaching, Beaverton Literacy Council has been teaching all kinds of classes this last spring, really as a way to learn. We're going to start a more comprehensive program in the fall. But this spring we've been teaching advanced classes and beginner classes, and we've had a number of students who have been coming to class fairly regularly, people who didn't come to class regularly when we had in-person classes. And this seems like such an obvious thing, but this online teaching and learning has really made classes accessible to students who are not able to get to class in person, right? They're working one or two jobs, they have kids at home perhaps, they don't have the, they just don't have the energy or the time to maybe get on a bus at 6:30 at night to start going to English class, but they can turn on their phone. All they need is a phone. They don't even need a computer. As long as they have Wi-Fi, they can turn on their phone to come to English class. And so anyway, that's a real benefit of where we are now. There have to be some bright lights, right? The second story is something that I hope you'll take to heart. The end of April, we had started teaching this beginner class. It was a complex, it was a bit of a monster. We had about 15 students and 4 other teachers, including me, and we were all starting in one room together. It was a low level, intro, level 1, level 2. And we were starting together in one room, and then we were going into breakout rooms where each breakout room had a subset of the students and one teacher. And this was our second class, I think, and I was really feeling like I was orchestrating and I was the puppeteer and trying to make sure everyone felt comfortable and everyone felt okay. And I explained that we were going into breakout rooms. It was a low-level class we opened for Spanish speakers as a trial, because several of us speak Spanish. And just as I was about to click the button to send everyone into breakout rooms, my computer died. Oh, God. And I freaked out. It just spontaneously rebooted. I had to start from scratch. I had to boot up completely. I had to get back on the internet. I had to get back into my Zoom. And I got back and I was panicked and kind of out of breath, even though I had just been sitting in my chair. And you know what everyone was doing? Chatting. They were sitting there. They were okay. Oh, teacher, okay. Okay, teacher. No problem, teacher. The other teachers who also weren't so clear what they were doing at the moment, they were chatting with students. Students were chatting. It was no big deal. Everyone was just fine. So, we'll probably all have experience. We'll probably all have some experiences like that in a way, and just know that it's okay. The students will be okay. The other teachers will be okay. And you'll be able to go from there. All right. So with that as our backdrop, I'm going to share my screen and we'll talk a little bit about our session. So 4-session workshop, as you know, we're going to start with very basics, just about navigating the Zoom, talk about teacher tools and teaching tools and the differences. We're going to talk a lot about building an effective lesson, and we're going to talk about breakout rooms and basic troubleshooting, roughly in that order. Each of the 4 sessions will do a sample lesson, and so we'll be building in the pedagogy aspects of that, and I'll be sharing a lot of ideas, and hopefully you guys will get to share a lot of your ideas also about teaching and teaching online. Questions anytime. There's not a dedicated time for questions. You can raise your hand, you can just ask if there's a pause, interrupt me. If it's something we're getting to, I might ask you to just hold that question, but please ask your questions. I want to make sure that we get them answered. All right. So today we're going to talk mostly about navigation. And I apologize for those of you who have been teaching online and doing a lot of this. This might feel basic, but I know that a lot of people have not been teaching online or have been, let's call it, just barely teaching online. You get on and you can talk to students, and that's kind of, anything else pushes the comfort level. I see a few heads nodding. So I think this basic stuff is really, really important to have a good, solid foundation, to feel comfortable moving around your computer and moving around your screens. It's not, teaching online does not need to involve a lot of technology, but it's really helpful if it involves a little bit of technology. All right, so that's what we're going to be focused on. Questions? And I apologize, I cannot actually see everyone on my screen. So if you raise your hand and I don't see you, just shout. Okay.
Actually, one question does come to mind. I was trying to help some of my students during a class to help them navigate their screen, because some of them had not figured out how they could mute themselves. So I was trying to share my screen, and then with where you can draw a line and show them with an arrow, okay, down at the left side of your screen at the bottom, when you take your cursor there, you will see that bar appear, and then just click on the microphone. That's how you can mute and unmute yourself. Now, I have to say, I was not the single host, because at that time I was using a Zoom link from Eric Dodson. I'm sure you know Eric. And he had listed me as a co-host. And I'm wondering if, because I was the co-host, that was the reason why I could not share that screen with my students, because he could as the host. So he took over at that time.
Thanks, Patricia. Co-host, I've come to the conclusion that being a co-host in Zoom is largely a ceremonial title.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't allow you to get a whole lot. However, in the pre-work, you saw I had links for joining Zoom from a computer, from a tablet, and from a phone. And those are on my website also, which I'll share with you in a bit. Okay. And you're welcome to share those links with students. Okay. And to cut and paste those screenshots. And I spent a lot of time in meetings with myself and I doing all those screenshots, so please use them.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right. Okay, so, all right, navigating the screen. I would like you to please, hopefully you got to do this in the practice, in the pre-work, but please try it now. Full screen and regular screen. Remember the little, I'm gonna stop sharing. The little box in the top right-hand corner of your screen.
Right.
Can everyone go from full screen to regular screen and back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Okay, mute and unmute. Very important skill, as we've established. Video on and off. Bye. Don't forget to come back. Okay. And speaker view versus gallery view. It's something that I can't tell if you're doing, but I can tell that you're looking in the top right-hand corner of your screen. So those links that I referred to earlier about getting on Zoom from a computer, from a tablet, and from a phone show you where the buttons are in different places if you're on a tablet or a phone. So if your students are on a tablet or a phone, their buttons will be in different places than what you just experienced. So those links are good places to go if you want to be able to give your students directions. Okay, so next, chat. Can everyone please send us a message in chat? And then when you're done with that, hi everyone. If you could please click your reactions button and do something from the reactions. I see lots of thumbs ups. All right, any problems? Everyone good with those?
No, mine's not showing up on my, and I'm doing thumbs up. So what do I do here?
You're doing thumbs up? Do it again, please.
Wait, maybe I still have the other one open.
There you go.
There it is. Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. So now that everyone has gotten those reactions down, I'm going to tell you that I never use them.
How do you get them off the screen once they're there?
They'll go off. They'll go off by themselves.
Okay.
I do have some students who have figured them out, and so they'll use those. But I have not taught my students the reactions. I'm not opposed to them. I just think I'm not into technology for technology's sake. And to me, even though we're on video, we can make a visual connection. And it's so easy just to raise your hand or to wave or to do thumbs up. That's what I tend to do with my students. It's to me, I don't know, it's more human. I like it. There are enough things that we have to teach our students. For me, that hasn't been one of them. It's just a personal preference. Okay. Another thing that you may have seen, if you click your participants button, down at the bottom, you will see some more reactions. And if you click the 3 horizontal dots, you'll see some more thumbs up, thumbs down. You'll see a cup of coffee. I'm not sure what that means.
Coffee break.
I need coffee.
Oh, I forgot to bring the coffee. Erica, you were supposed to bring the coffee today, weren't you?
Right.
Linda, I'm lost now. Where are you? Where are you?
If you click the participants button down on the bottom of your
Yes.
screen,
Yes.
and then at the bottom of that column that pops up, you'll see a yes and a no.
Oh, okay.
Well, a white box has popped up with everybody's name.
Right, so look down at the very bottom
Oh,
of that
I
box.
see. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So Linda, if people are putting messages in here, like go faster, go slower, are you seeing them only if you have the participants open, or does it pop up on your screen to notify you?
Try it. If you say go faster, go slower.
I put go faster in.
No, I'm not seeing it on your video box. I'm only seeing it in the participants list.
Okay, so if you didn't, like as the teacher, if you didn't have participants open, you wouldn't be getting these messages.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's important, right? Okay.
So that's another reason why I don't use these. You know, I want you to know that you're there, and if students ask about them, you know that they're there. But there's enough to pay attention to as it is. I don't really tend to use the chat box either. Sometimes if you have a big class like this and people don't want to interrupt, they want to put questions in there. But as a teacher, it's another thing to monitor. I will use it sometimes to send a link, which I'm going to do with you guys in a minute. I'm going to post a link in the chat box, and that's a good way to send a link if you want students to open a page. Most of the time, I don't want students to open a page. I would rather open the page and share my screen, because that way I can direct my students to whatever part of the page that I want. So chat also has the capability of allowing students to send chat messages to one another. So Erica could send a chat message to Susan, or Rochelle could send one to Parul, except that I have that disabled.
I know my 7-year-old granddaughter learned to do that in her Google class. And
Yeah.
busy chatting with somebody, not the teacher.
Exactly. You know, we're going to talk about security. I'm not sure we'll get to it today, but we'll certainly do it on Thursday. And that's one of the things I just don't need in my class to think that people are sending unsolicited messages to other people. And you get to know your students, and so hopefully that's not an issue, but it's also just a distraction. It's one of those technology for technology's sakes things.
Linda, I have a comment and question
Yeah.
about the participant list. I found that when I go to a screen share, it takes away the ability to have the participant list up, or so the chat list up when you're on screen share. The challenge I had with that was it also took away my ability to accept people in that hadn't, you know, that were late coming to class. And I was in a screen share and I didn't know that there were people waiting to come to be allowed into the class. Do you know if there's any way around that?
Yeah, actually, it's not taking your ability away to do it, sorry, speak English. It's not taking away your ability to do those things. It just is hiding them. So when you're sharing your screen and you click the participants button, that participants window is popping up. It's just behind something else. And we'll talk more about how to move things around. And the same with the chat box. You can see them. You just have to move your video screen aside often in order to see them.
Linda?
Okay, yeah.
Linda?
Yes.
There's also a doorbell button apparently that you can use so that if people are waiting and the teacher hasn't noticed, that they can ring a doorbell and no one else will hear it, but the teacher will hear it.
So you guys may have heard when people were coming in, unless you were last, you heard the doorbell ringing as people coming in. And that doorbell rang when they came into the waiting room.
Okay.
So that does tell me. And you can set that. There's an option. You can set it so that everyone hears it or so that only the teacher hears it.
Right. Okay.
Personally, I set it so that everyone hears it because I find it's distracting if I'm talking, and if I'm going to be distracted, then let everyone understand why I'm being distracted because they'll hear the doorbells also. I don't know, maybe that's a little perverse, but.
Linda, I have one positive comment about the chat. In my particular class, there are a lot of Spanish-speaking students, and some have excellent English skills and others very, very little to none. And I do not speak Spanish. So by allowing to have students chat with each other, they can sometimes translate if I'm saying something important and they don't understand, and then, you know, they can talk amongst themselves.
Although, would there be any harm in having everyone in the class see that translation?
No. Oh, I see your point. Yeah, they could just post that to everybody.
To everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
I did see a great, I don't know if any of you are on the Portland ESL Network Facebook group. It's a great place for resources, but some of us were chatting, posting on the Facebook group, and someone gave the idea of sending private chat of the teacher sending private chat messages to individual students for charades. So the teacher was sending one student the whatever animal that they were supposed to act out, and that was something that not everybody could see. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so let's start. Just to sort of get warmed up, I'm going to open breakout rooms, and this is what I'd like you to do. We're going to have more extensive breakout rooms in a minute, but not everybody has been in breakout rooms. So this is your task for breakout rooms. And I'm going to ask you what we often ask our students to do in this case. Erica, you want to say it? You can take a picture. This is why people were asking why I was asking you to have your cell phone handy. Right. When we have conversation questions or things that we want students to do in breakout rooms, we ask them to take a picture of this screen and and then they'll have it with them. Because when you go into a breakout room, it's just like if you're in a hotel ballroom and then you go into side rooms for discussions, you no longer can see what's on the screen in the hotel ballroom. Same thing here. If you go into a breakout room, there's no way for me to show you my screen without actually coming into your breakout room. So this is just a very quick get acquainted. You'll only have a few minutes. We're going to have, excuse me, yeah, just 2 to 3 people in each room. We're going to go over later how to actually create this, but yeah, we'll have 2 to 3 people in each room. Just go in, introduce yourselves. Where have you taught? Try the ask for help button, which is going to send me a message. So I should be getting lots of messages from everyone, and then leave the room and we'll come back together. All right, here we go. I taught my beginner students the word whiplash.
Linda, what happens if we don't click to come back to the breakout room? Do we come back anyway?
It boots
See
you
you
back.
later. No. It brings you back. You can, when you set up breakout rooms, you can set that timer. I have it set for 30 seconds. 1 minute feels like too long, and 30 seconds allows people sort of to wrap up their conversation. But if you don't click to come back, it will bring you back anyway. So you just have to put your neck brace on.
I had a question about asking for help.
Yes.
If I ask for your help and invite you to come and help us, do my peers see that within the breakout room, or is it a private message?
That's a really good question. I do not believe your peers see it. Did you guys see other people asking for help?
We did not see it in our group.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
You
And I
appeared, but we didn't see that notice.
that someone had asked.
Because Jessica told us that she did ask for help and then you appeared, but both Barbara and I could not see that.
Okay. When someone asks for help and I appear in the room, the other people usually look pretty surprised. So
You're a spy.
Okay.
Do you have a choice? Like, are you getting multiple requests and you press go to room, or are you redirected?
I have a choice. I get a request that says this person in this room has asked for help. Join, or I think it says join or go to that room, or I have the option to say later.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The ask for help button actually disappeared because when I wanted to try it, it was no longer available.
Was I in your room?
You were in our room for just a second and then you disappeared.
But it wasn't there, no.
Yeah.
The button disappeared when we got the countdown to return to the main room.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so when we're in breakout rooms, here are my questions, other than whether you had whiplash. Where were you?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I was in my chair right here.
Yeah, we were all sitting in our.
Who could hear you when you were in the breakout room?
Just us.
Just
The other people.
You sure I couldn't hear you or spy on you?
you could hear us, yes.
No, you couldn't hear us unless you came to our
you
room.
could hear us.
Oh.
Linda needs to mute.
There we go. Whoever said I was not able to hear you was correct. There is no way for the host to spy, or hostess in this case, to spy on you.
So, without appearing in the room.
Without appearing.
Okay.
Yeah. If you didn't see me or my box in there, then I could not hear what you were saying. And of course you couldn't hear. And when I'm in your room, I can't hear or see what anyone else is doing. I might get a box saying that they have requested help, but.
Can you come into a room without being requested?
Yes, I can. So when we talk about breakout rooms, you'll see that menu. I can go, and I can also move you to a different room without you requesting Zoom.
Oh,
Wow.
Yes, she can. I can attest to that.
Talk about whiplash. Okay.
Whiplash.
Yeah, the host can move people around or go in and out. This is something that I was very disappointed that co-hosts do not have the ability to do.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, because if we have a big class, some of us have taught together and we've had classes of 20 students or 24 students, and we've had 8 breakout rooms. And as the Zoom host, I have to be the one moving people around. Other people cannot, the co-host cannot move around.
Can co-hosts answer requests for help?
No, unfortunately. Largely ceremonial title, as I said.
Isn't it possible for you to switch the host job to someone else temporarily?
Yes,
Then they could do all those things.
right. But then I couldn't.
That's true, but if you're needed for something else temporarily, you could do that.
Absolutely, Rochelle. That's a really good point.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a co-host can come into the room if she wants to. Because that's what's happened to me before, because I was using, someone else set it up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the co-host came in and just dropped in. I saw her square, but she just dropped in.
She just dropped in. I wonder what
The host might have sent her.
Yeah, perhaps. But that seemed like she had the power, whatever, in there. I don't know.
Unless it has changed, and it's been probably 6 weeks since I've looked at those particulars on Zoom. Unless they've changed it in their latest version, the co-host doesn't have the freedom to flit around. The host has to move them around.
Okay, maybe it was the host who did it then.
Yeah. The other thing about breakout rooms is they cannot be managed from a tablet or a phone. So this is one of a few. The whole screen sharing thing is ugly from tablets and phones also, which is why I really recommended everyone have a computer. But breakout rooms cannot be managed from a tablet or phone. Okay, so we have established this. Now let's talk about navigation for teaching. And so one of the things that it's really important to do is to be able to find other things on your computer while you're teaching. The best thing before you start a class or before you start anything is to close everything that you don't need, but you still need to be able to go back and forth from your Zoom screen to maybe something that you want to share, and find your way back also. And I realize a lot of people have never actually done this. So pardon me if it's a old hat for you, but I'd like you to try this. If you're on a Mac, hold the Command key down and click the Tab key with your other finger. If you're on a Windows computer, it's Alt-Tab.
Oh God, what's tab?
Tab is the,
Interesting.
it's usually the key above the caps lock.
Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
It's only been 15 years since I've been on a PC, so it's new. Okay, so do that.
So is everyone seeing the different windows that they have open? And I believe you have only this in a browser window.
They're shaking, but I have them.
If you let go of both keys, you will end up in whatever window.
Oh,
I see.
Right, in wherever you stopped, it's sort of like musical chairs.
Okay.
Go back.
And then you can come back. And I've had some hysterical conversations with people who got away from their Zoom screen and couldn't get back and thought that they had to leave the Zoom meeting and come back. And I had to reassure them that I could still see and hear them. Therefore, they were still in the Zoom meeting. Okay.
So I have to keep one key, tab or the Alt down for it to be not jittery. Is that? I should be able to let go and have it be.
If you have to have the Alt and the Tab depressed at the same time. And continuing to click the tab will get you, if you have a whole lot of different things open, continuing to click the tab will cycle you through them.
But this isn't sharing screen, so what is the need for doing this?
Excellent question, my straight man. Okay, hold on just a second. Whoops. Now I've lost something. That's very odd.
And this is what we look like when we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so this is so heartening.
My control bar, which you guys will see in a minute, was behind something else. There we go. Could figure out where it was. Okay, this is what we look like. It's better than my computer spontaneously rebooting itself. All right, I am sending you guys a link in the chat box.
Okay.
And some people will be able to just click on that link and have it open. Other people will need to copy the link and toggle over to your browser and paste it in, and then click enter. And you should
So Linda?
Yes.
This is Nadine. When I tried the command tab, and then when I let go and did it again, I can't get back into the full screen of the class. I have the blank Zoom page. Like, should I exit Zoom and enter back in again, or?
You don't need to, because we can still see and hear you. If you
but I can't see your screen.
Are you on a Mac or a PC?
Mac.
If you look at your dock, which could be on the bottom or down the side of your computer,
right,
you should see the Zoom icon.
Right.
You can just click on that.
Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm back.
There we go. I was hoping you would say Mac. Okay.
For me, Linda, it says Safari can't open it because I can't establish a secure connection. So is that on my end of a problem?
Yes. Sorry. Do you have another? If you have another browser, Chrome or Firefox or?
Okay, we'll try that.
Try that. Does anyone else having trouble getting to the five affordable types of organic food?
Oh, yeah, I wondered about the subject, but yes.
Yeah, I'm not.
Linda?
Yeah.
Linda, are you saying that the screen with you and everybody else on it needs to be in front of that? Or, because as soon as I click on that, I don't have the view with everybody else.
That's what you can toggle back.
Exactly. What I want you to be able to do is go back and forth from organic food to seeing our lovely faces.
So I have to keep relaunching the meeting every time I want to see everybody else?
Just you. Are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC.
PC, just using the Alt tab trick
Yeah.
should get you back to us.
Okay, let me try one more time. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Good. All right.
So,
Anybody else? Yeah. Any other? So can everyone now toggle back and forth between us and organic food?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Don't want anyone to get lost. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen again. So you want to be on us. We've done these things. Now, what we're going to do next.
Excuse me, Linda, but I could not figure out how to toggle. There was nothing that happened. I can't go back and forth.
Do you have another window open? Do you have a browser open?
Nope, there's nothing else open.
Well, then when you try to toggle, nothing's going to happen.
Well,
did you click on the link in the chat?
Yes, I did, and I opened it. And that was fine, but I can't toggle back and forth.
So you have a browser window open.
I don't know what you're asking.
Okay, when you're, do you remember, you came in a couple minutes late. Do you remember going from full screen to regular screen?
Right.
Okay, so are you in full screen now or regular screen? So for everybody else, this is something you may need to do with your students, right?
Yeah.
So Vivian, in the top right-hand corner of your screen,
I see your slides, and now I, without doing anything, it was back to the full screen.
That's because I stopped sharing my screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I was trying to get
So
back.
the link on the side for organic foods, I clicked on that and I was able to go to that, but I couldn't toggle back and forth. Can you please explain what you mean?
Vivian, are you on a Mac?
No.
I just asked because I don't have to toggle back and forth. It just pulled up a separate window and it shows up.
It's a PC and it doesn't toggle.
Do you go, Vivian, have you tried holding the Alt key down and then clicking the Tab key?
I can try that.
What happens when you do that? We'll try this for another few seconds and then.
Now it does.
Oh, okay.
Linda, I've also found on the Mac that sometimes it does it and sometimes it doesn't. I just have to keep at it, and after maybe 5 tries, it will complete the toggle. So maybe that's machine to machine.
Yeah, sounds like you might have a loose circuit. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so what I want to do, and you're welcome. Glad you got it working. What I want to do in a couple of minutes, we're going to go into breakout rooms. And hi,
Joel has a dog.
First, I'm going to
barking.
We're going to go into breakout rooms, and I want you to take turns sharing your screen with one another. And before doing that, I'm going to show you exactly what I'd like you to do. So in the bar at the bottom of your screen, you'll see this big green button, share screen. And that is exactly what it says it is. No hidden agendas for it. When you click, don't click on it yet, please. When you click on the share screen button, you will get a pop-up that looks roughly like this. It may have a fewer boxes in it if you don't have so many things open. You want to do 3 things when you're on this little window. 1, click on the window that you want to share. So in this case, you'll click on your organic foods window. I've clicked on a different one. If you are going to be sharing video, which we're not right now, but I just don't want to forget to tell you, there's a little box in the bottom left-hand corner that says share computer sound. If you don't click that, your students will not be able to hear what's going on in your video. So it's a good habit to get into, to click that, and then you click the share button. All right, so 3 things, 1, 2, 3. And when you are sharing your screen, you will see this bar across the top. This is the one that for me was hidden behind something else before. So you still have the capability to mute and unmute, share and unshare your video. You can grab the little bar in the corner, click, hold down, and drag it. Because the problem is it gets put up at the top of your screen, and if you're trying to navigate around your browser and open a new window, it could be hiding some of your commands. So by dragging it somewhere else in your screen, again, it's just comfort navigating around and being able to do what you need to do. For now, the only things I want you to be able to do are drag it and then stop share, this big bright red one. They don't want us to miss it. All right, so in the breakout rooms, you want to take turns sharing your organic food screen. Yes, some people are already taking pictures with their phone, taking pictures of this. That's good. Move the Zoom sharing bar. Try opening a new browser window. And this was just a suggestion. Search for images of your favorite food. And then stop sharing. And you'll have just 2 or 3 people in the room. Everyone take a turn and then leave the room. Make sure you don't leave the meeting. All right.
Linda, do we open the new browser while we're still sharing our screen?
Sure. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
And you know, make sure then you'll be able to ask the other person what they see.
Okay.
All right. Closing that. Questions?
We probably will after.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. Oh, okay. Whoops. Okay. All right. I got 2 participants in each room. That will be good. So everyone should be able to get a turn. And here we go.
So were you saying that we cannot share with the whole group, that you have a setting for that, Linda?
Yes, and we'll talk about that next time when we talk about security. But yes, I have it set so that people cannot, other people cannot share screens. It's really easy to change, but that setting doesn't apply to breakout rooms, which is,
okay,
I think, a bug, but it's useful.
How did you put the link in your chat?
Sorry, Rochelle?
How did you put the link in your chat?
I went to my browser. I copied the link. I toggled back to Zoom. I opened chat and I pasted it in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I wasn't able to share my screen because nothing came up, and I'm not quite sure what happened with that. Any suggestions of how I may have gotten wrong?
Did you found the green button?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And when you clicked the green button, what happened?
I just get sort of my blank. I don't get into my browser. I don't get my regular screen. I find that when I go back and forth, it sort of things disappear.
I think that happened with us also, but it was just that he didn't have anything open in his browser.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That you have to start with that.
My partner showed me how to go to images, and I brought up an image to share.
Oh, rather than the website that on the organic.
Right, right. Because I didn't know where that was.
Okay.
It still sounds a little bit fishy. So homework, by the way, is going to be, among other things, to try to set up your own meeting and try all the things that we're trying in class. You know, you can do it with a friend. You can have, you can join your own meeting with both a phone and a computer to get, you know, another person in there or whatever you need to.
Jill, we can connect afterwards if you want.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah. When I could open up your link to the organic foods, but then I lost the toolbar at the bottom of the screen. There was nothing there that for me to share or to click on. I could, I got the picture, but my cohort couldn't see. I couldn't share it. So
I think the solution to that is that you actually have to move your mouse to the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, no,
to make that bar appear.
No, I was doing that.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's at the top of the screen. Sometimes it retracts, retracts into the top of the screen. So you could try your mouse up there and see.
If you have, we're going to move on, but if you have trouble doing any of the things that we're doing today that you're not able to resolve on your own, send me a note and we'll get on Zoom, the 2 of us, and figure it out together.
Great, thank you.
Happy to do that. Okay, not too much time. I want to show you guys just a few more things. So you may notice that when I or you are sharing, you have other things. You can't see everybody. You still want to be able to see your students, or you can't, the people, the bar of people is in your way. So at the top of the bar, usually the default is a strip of all the people when the screen is being shared. Look at the top of that strip, and there are 3 options. And you can use those options. First of all, you can drag the bar and move it around. You can use these options to go from seeing one person to seeing to seeing the bar, to seeing many people. If you just click this grid-like thing, then you can click either of the corners and drag it out to see a lot of people.
I have a question, Linda. Yeah. I'm in speaker view and you're sharing your screen, and those options are not at the top of speaker view that I can tell.
Is the bar of people across the top?
No, it's down the right-hand side.
I think because you're in host mode, we don't have it as students.
No, we do. You just can't be in speaker mode. You have to be in group mode in order to see the group.
Gallery view.
Gallery view.
Yeah. All right. So this is something else to play with. We only have 5 minutes left. I want to go somewhat, just show you a quick sample lesson. This is just to give you an idea of the practice for this, okay? This is a lesson. I've done parts of this with low-level learners to develop familiarity with have, has, and some kitchen object vocabulary. You were wondering why you had that spoon next to you. So we're not going to do it exactly the way with everything that I would do with students, because we don't have so much time left. But I would start this by just asking, what do you have? And I'll show, I have a spoon. What do you have?
Anybody? I have a cucumber.
Cucumber.
I have a spatula.
Whisk, spatula.
I have a spoon as well.
Oops. I have a can opener.
Can opener.
I have a slotted spoon.
You guys have such great vocabulary.
I have a funnel.
A funnel. I have to tell you that I've never done this and not had someone ask for what a whisk is. No one knows that word.
Garlic press.
Garlic. Okay, so you get the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would develop some vocabulary. I get to see a little bit about what students know, what they don't know. Then I go backwards a little bit and have some control, right? This is very receptive. Students, first I was just seeing what students know and how they talked about their language, how they talked about their items and what they have, anyone using full sentences. And then now I'm going to zoom in and ask, so what is this?
A knife.
A knife.
It's a knife.
Mm-hmm.
And I put these all in different boxes. So, whoops.
What program are you using for?
This is Google Slides.
Oh.
And yeah, you can use
PowerPoint.
You can use PowerPoint. You can use anything
Keynote.
you want. Keynote. Sorry, I just. All right, you get the idea. All right. Anyway, you can make these in a list and draw lines or whatever, but this visual, right? There are things that we can take advantage of in this visual world and actually move them all over. Now I'm going to go back to this slide, and I want to, before we just talked about words, I'm going to say, what do you have? I have a spoon. What do you have?
I have a whisk.
I have a whisk.
I have an apple.
I have an apple. Who said that? Was that Deborah?
I did. I don't have an apple, but I just wanted to get the "and" in there.
Okay. Deborah has an apple.
Oh, very good.
And
What does
a spoon also?
Barbara has a spoon.
A wooden spoon.
Barbara has a spoon. So I would work through this to use the vocabulary and use the have and has.
Mm-hmm.
I would not introduce all the I have, you have, he has, they have. I wouldn't don't like to start that way. It's too confusing. It doesn't make sense to students. I and the third person, he or she, are the first things that they need to know. They can learn the rest of it after that. But just these are the most common things that we use. Let them just learn these first. And we have something that they're interested in to do it with. Then I would go less control. So we have total control, or pretty total, right? Because I'm showing them the words and I'm showing them the picture. Now I'm using the same structure all the time. So this is a lot of support. All they have to be able to do is repeat the structure. And then I'm going to open it up and we're going to craft sentences. She, if there's a woman's hand, she has a whisk, she has a pot. If they're ready, she is stirring. We might do another one. She has a spatula. She has potatoes.
Can't tell what that is.
Can't tell what those are. Now, these might not even all be in one lesson, right? Especially if a lesson is just an hour. There are other things. There are these kinds of things. Now, we haven't taught all the different they and we and you, but this is something that we can do online. That's much more of a pain to do it in a classroom, right? But we can do these fill in the blanks. The students love it when we do them and then we check and it says, Linda, outstanding. This is a video where she takes all kinds of things out of her bag, like alligators, and I have that. He asks for a pen. Anyway, that sort of gives you a sample of the power of being able to share your screen and navigate around, open a new browser window. In this case, I had all the windows open that I wanted to use before we started class. It's a good practice. Can't always do it, but now you know that while you're sharing your screen, or you can stop sharing and you can go back and you can open something else for people to see.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you share your slides with us?
Yes, absolutely. I will share my slides. I'm going to share my slides from today, and I will share my slides for Thursday's class, so you'll be able to get a head start if you want. Deborah. Whoops, you're muted.
It's a two-click process to share and unshare. Is there a faster way to go back and forth between the group view and the shared screen?
Unsharing is just one step. It's just clicking that red stop sharing button.
Right, but to share,
you have to click this one that you want to share and the share button. Yeah.
Okay. Questions. One other question I had is, for Zoom, has anybody found a discount rate below the $15 a month for?
I have the best discount for you. If you teach for Beaverton Literacy Council, you can use our Zoom accounts, and then it costs you nothing.
Aha. Okay.
more on that coming, but yes,
I think if you get it for a year, the price goes down considerably.
Yeah, they do run those promotions now and then do it for a year. But yes, we would love to have more people using our accounts. Vivian?
Yes, we have ours. We bought ours from TechSoup, and that's open for nonprofits. If you're a member of a nonprofit, then you can purchase it through TechSoup and it's less.
Thank you.
Excellent. Gotta look into that. Other questions?
Also,
Joel?
If Zoom doesn't keep track, so it's a pain, but if you have a free account, you can do back-to-back 40-minute sessions.
Yeah. It can be hard enough to get everybody to get online to begin with, let alone to leave and come back. But I have had people do that.
Yeah.
So Linda?
Yes.
If we're trying to set up our own meeting, then are you saying that we would need our own Zoom account?
This will be part of the homework. have a great video that shows really, it's not difficult anyway, but this video makes it even easier to set up your own account. Yes, to set up your own meeting, you do need to have an account. A free account you can use for 40 minutes if you're just for 2 people. If you want to have any more than, sorry, you can use unlimited time if you're just 2 people. If you have more than 2 people, your meetings are limited to 40 minutes. All right, I want to respect your time. It is 2 o'clock. I'll stick around a little bit more if people have more questions. I will send out my slides with some homework, and same as I tell my English students, if you don't have time to do the homework, I still want you to come to the next class. You will just get more out of it if you have time to do the homework.
Thank you very much, Linda.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.